So you can find 1870. If that's so. Yeah. As I said, we always, 9 out of 10 times at least speak on the Bhagavad Gita. But today is an extra special reason to talk on the Bhagavad Gita, because Bhagavad Gita was spoken a few days ago on the ISKCON day of the was Tuesday, Wednesday, some more than 5,000 years ago. So, but what to say about Bhagavad Gita? It's easy, and then again difficult to glorify the Bhagavad Gita. We cannot end the glorification of the Bhagavad Gita. And then it's also, anything one says, it cannot be practical, cannot be an exaggeration. Like, for example, Bhagavad Gita is the best book ever written. Is that an exaggeration? It's the most intelligent and wise book ever written. And so you might think that I'm fanatical or sectarian by saying that Bhagavad Gita is the most intelligent book ever written, but it's not me. I didn't say that. I'm just quoting Schopenhauer, German philosopher of the 1800s, one of the most, of that time, most famous philosophers. And he said that Bhagavad Gita is the wisest and most sublime teaching which is possible to find anywhere in the world. And I know that from, I've had the fortune to sometimes be allowed to just go on the street with Bhagavad Gitas, and then try to meet people and present the Bhagavad Gita to them. And it's actually very fantastic to say this is the most intelligent book ever written. I tell them that they say it is the most intelligent book ever written. I'm not saying anything. I just say they say. So who they are, I don't get into. But I wanted to read from 18th chapter, text 70. 70. And I, and that's of course Lord Krishna who is speaking, and I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence. And that's it. There's no purport. Prabhupada doesn't write a purport. But still, it is a very, very important conclusion by Krishna that we can worship Krishna in several ways. We perform, for example, deity worship. We perform artik, and we pray to Krishna, and we glorify Krishna. It's different forms of worship. Similarly, reading Bhagavad Gita is worship of Krishna, he says, with one's intelligence. Intelligence is one of the faculties one has been given. We've been given of course, our body. We've also been given different resources that come with the body. We can worship with the different resources. We've been given our different senses. We've been given our mind, our soul, and so on, and our intelligence. Intelligence is another gift that we have been supplied with. So if we read Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, you worship me with your intelligence. So don't think that it's that reading Bhagavad Gita is just something dry or something scholarly or jnana or something like that. No, actually it is worship of Krishna with one's intelligence. So that should give one great inspiration. When reading Bhagavad Gita all the time, one is actually directly connected and reciprocating with Krishna in form of hearing his instructions and understanding them with one's intelligence and learning how to utilize one's intelligence for connecting with Krishna. Because this is really what Bhagavad Gita is about. Bhagavad Gita is spoken as Buddhi yoga. Buddhi means intelligence. Yoga means connecting with. So Buddhi yoga is actually, Bhagavad Gita is a level of Buddhi yoga. We connect with our intelligence. And that means, because yoga is a process where we, from our conditioned state, connect with the Supreme. So we're not necessarily spontaneously attracted to the Supreme. That's why we are in this world as conditioned souls. But we can use our intelligence, and with our intelligence we can act on a higher understanding, and then we connect with Krishna. And that's very much a theme in the Bhagavad Gita. One uses one's intelligence and makes chooses to always be connected with Krishna. Intelligence, actually, what is intelligence? It's actually the ability to choose. That is what intelligence means, or is symptomatic of someone who is intelligent. One has different options, and one chooses, makes a choice. That's symptomatic of intelligence. And of course, the more intelligent one is, the better one's choices they will be. So what does that mean? That they will be better? What is good? What is bad in terms of being intelligent? Well, that means that can only be seen in relationship to a goal. In intelligence means there is a certain goal, and then one can choose between different options that brings one towards that goal. Is that clear? Simple. So a function of the intelligence is actually also to choose between different goals. That's one of the first tasks of the intelligence, to decide on a suitable goal. There's so many goals that one can choose from, and Bhagavad Gita is also giving different kinds of goals. They're material goals. They're goals for escaping the material world, getting liberated from the material world. And then there is also the supreme goal of connecting with the Supreme. So we have all these different goals to choose between. Material goals are practically unlimited. One can, enjoy the material world in so many ways by, enjoying or becoming famous or becoming rich or becoming, having possessions, and there's so many, unlimited. But then when one reads Bhagavad Gita and one has some intelligence, one sees these are not worthy goals, they're all temporary. And material life is basically suffering. No matter what material goal one achieves, one will be frustrated. And so to get liberated from the material world, that seems a worthier goal. So that's another option. But then, as one also gets further in one's understanding, Krishna explains that's not even possible. You cannot get liberated in that sense just by being liberating from existing or liberated from acting. That's one thing that Bhagavad Gita instructs. We will always be active. We do not have the choice not to be active. Those who want to be liberated, they want to get freedom from all activity, because it's the reactions of activity which are causing us to suffer. And but then Krishna instructs in Bhagavad Gita, it's not possible. We can never be inactive, not even for a moment. And that's actually it's a very profound insight or knowledge that Krishna gives, very crucial knowledge. We can never be inactive, even for a moment. Either we are active on the bodily platform, or we are active on the mind. We'll always be active every second. It's not so. Really, then comes to the point: one has to connect all one's activities, one's gross bodily, one's mental, one's desires, and so on, with the Supreme. That is the real goal, and to achieve, to be connected with the Supreme through constant service, and through that develop one's natural, original love for the Supreme. That is the real goal. And Krishna gives that goal very clearly. He said many in the past achieved that goal. Vita Ragabaya Krodha Manmaya Mamupasrita Bhavogyanatapasa Puta Mat Bhavamagata. That in the past, many being freed from attachment, fear, and anger, being fully absorbed in me, and taking complete refuge in me, it developed, became completely absorbed in me and developed love for me. And that love, that bhava, that is the real goal that one should achieve. So many goals are given in the Bhagavad Gita, and also it's been said clearly what is the supreme goal. So that should be the first task of the intelligence, to assess what the goal is, and then always act towards that goal. And I'll read 266 also. You can put it on the screen if you want. It's another fantastic verse, and Prabhupada has a beautiful purport to that. So text 66 says, Nasti buddhi ayuktasya, natya yuktasya bhavana, natya bhavayatha shantiya ashantasya kuta sukham. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence nor a steady mind, without which there is no possibility of peace. And how can there be any happiness without peace? Krishna, he says here, out of the many different goals, but if the goal is not the Supreme, then the intelligence will not be steady. One will not have transcendental intelligence. One will not have a steady mind. Because actually, the Supreme is the only goal that doesn't change. All other goals, material goals especially, once one has achieved them or been frustrated in achieving them, then that goal is no more. Then one is confused. One has to find another goal. And, and therefore material goals is, those who are material goals are, they don't have much intelligence actually, because intelligence will not be able to focus on any fixed goal. So one has to have the Supreme as a goal. Then one will get fixed mind, one can, this is what one is driving toward. And then one will get transcendental intelligence. Where will one get that intelligence from? I'll get back to that in a moment. But then one will get transcendental intelligence to achieve the Supreme. Prabhupada writes here, unless one is in Krishna consciousness, there's no possibility of peace. So it is confirmed in the 5th chapter, 529, that when one understands that Krishna is the only enjoyer of all the good results of sacrifice and penance, that he is the proprietor of all universal manifestations, and that he is the real friend of all living entities, then only can one have real peace. Therefore, if one is not in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be a final goal for the mind. Disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. And when one is certain that Krishna is the enjoyer, proprietor, and friend of everyone and everything, then one can, with a steady mind, bring about peace. Therefore, one who is engaged without a relationship with Krishna is certainly always in distress and is without peace, however much he may make a show of peace and spiritual advancement in life. Krishna consciousness is a self-manifested peaceful condition which can be achieved only in relationship with Krishna. So that's a very essential verse. The goal has to be the Supreme. There's no way that one can have steady intelligence, steady mind, without having the Supreme as a goal. And if one doesn't have a steady mind, Krishna, he asks, you can say, in the last sentence is what you can call a rhetorical question. You know this expression, rhetorical question. He says, how can there be any happiness without peace? You don't have to give an answer. That, the answer is there in the question. There's no, it's obvious. If the mind is not peaceful, there's no happiness. We have to have a peaceful mind. That can only be achieved when the Supreme Krishna, he is the goal. So then, when one has Krishna as the goal, then one will advance. And how will one advance? And how will one get the intelligence to achieve the Supreme? One can think, but I'm not very intelligent. And that is probably true. For some of us, we're not very intelligent. So how will we still achieve the supreme goal? It takes an awful lot of intelligence. It takes intelligence, and also it takes determination, and which actually are synonymous. Intelligence and determination are actually synonymous, more or less. Or determination is one of the functions of intelligence. If someone knows by intelligence what is the correct thing that should be done, but he doesn't do it, he doesn't have the determination, cannot bring himself to do it, is he intelligent? No, he's not intelligent. He knows what should be done, but doesn't do it. So intelligence is determination is included in intelligence. One will act on it. Activity. Intelligence is not, because someone might think intelligence means you just sit around and you are intelligent. No, intelligent means it translates into action. Intelligent persons are very active, but they are choosing. It's a matter of, you can choose between different actions. There's so many actions we can do every moment. Intelligent person will choose the right action and then act. That is an intelligent person. So how does one get that intelligence? Krishna explains that also. 10th chapter, very important verse 2, 10:10. Very famous verse 2. Tesham sarata yuktanam bhajyatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhayogam tam yenam am upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And here Prabhupada translates it is understanding, but it is translation of the word buddhayogam. Buddhi, I give the intelligence by which they can come to me. So it's just a matter of words, but that is what will happen. Let's see next verse. Now that's connected with that. Next verse says Tesham evanu kamparatam aham agyana jam tamaha nasam yatma babava sto gyana dipena basvata. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with a shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And Prabhupada, in the purport to that verse, elaborates on that one doesn't have necessarily to be very educated or literate to be a devotee. One can be. There are very great, highly educated people amongst, the devotees of Krishna. Of course, there have been millions and billions of devotees of Krishna. There's been some very great scholars. Jiva Goswami is one example. He's considered as the greatest philosopher that ever lived. And we consider him that. But also, someone showed me once that there was some English professor of philosophy like that, and he mentioned well, Jiva Goswami, there's been no philosopher like him. So they're very highly educated scholars amongst devotees. But then again, also there are those who are not. There are many of us, we just simple, uneducated, illiterates. Many of us are illiterates. You might say there are no illiteracy in Denmark. You heard that, but actually there are quite many illiterates in Denmark. The only difference is they've learned to read. That's all. But many of us might as well not be able to read. So we can be. We are. Even if I'm a simple person and like that, it doesn't matter. Krishna will give intelligence. Therefore, Krishna says, "Mam hi part of yapasrita yepishu papillonaya striya vaisas tata sudras tipi yanti param gatim." That even those who are of a lower birth, such as women, sudras, vaishyas, and even Madhu can also. He's also, of course, he's very intelligent. and even those who come from sinful backgrounds, if they take shelter of me, Krishna says, can achieve the highest destination, because Krishna is in the heart. It's from him intelligence comes. Actually, we are not the source of intelligence, any of us. Krishna is supplying intelligence to everyone. All the time, he's sitting as a super soul within the heart, and he's supplying intelligence to everyone. But when we are in illusion, we think, I am intelligent. I'm very intelligent. And that is illusion. The intelligence is always supplied by Krishna. And to some he gives more intelligence, some he gives less. This is according to their karma. I have a previous karma to have a certain intelligence. Krishna is supplying that, exactly that, not more. And then I think that it's me who am intelligent. But actually, no, it's Krishna is supplying all the time. But when someone wants to connect with him and achieve him, then it's no more karma. Then Krishna just gives all the intelligence that is needed to become his pure devotee. So therefore, Krishna says, I sit within the heart and I give them the intelligence, the knowledge necessary to come to me. It doesn't make one necessarily a big scholar or all-knowing or anything like that, but one gets the knowledge that is necessary to come to Krishna. That's how one this is. It's so simple. Bhagavad Gita is very simple. It's very sublime. It's also a lot of detailed knowledge. But then again, it becomes very simple when one understands the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. And the Bhagavad Gita has knowledge that can actually answer all questions. All the question one has, find the answers in the Bhagavad Gita. They have to be explained also by the right person. Bhagavad Gita has to be received from a devotee, not from a scholar. It has to be received from someone who simply is repeating Krishna's words. Prabhupada was the one who did that, gave us the Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavad Gita as it is, because Prabhupada's purports to the Bhagavad Gita are simply what Krishna he says. Prabhupada made a big point out of it. I'm not giving my own opinion here. And he said, I don't have a philosophy that I want to promote in the name of Bhagavad Gita. That's a very popular thing, because Bhagavad Gita obviously is a very popular book. So if you have a philosophy, your own philosophy you want to promote, and then you can write a Bhagavad Gita with some commentary and you think that, and then my philosophy will be spread through the Bhagavad Gita. That's not. And I mean, there's so many examples of that. Gandhi made a Bhagavad Gita commentaries where, he's promoting non-violence. But how is that possible? Bhagavad Gita is about fighting in a war. And there's so many who have tried to give all their kind of fancy interpretations of the Bhagavad Gita, but that's useless. And that just creates confusion. Bhagavad Gita has to be heard from a realized pure devotee. This is why Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, is such is the unique Bhagavad Gita. When we say Bhagavad Gita, it means Bhagavad Gita as it is with Srila Prabhupada's commentaries. And that book is unique. That version of the Bhagavad Gita has brought out the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. What's the proof? Well, we're here. We are the proof. There were so many Bhagavad Gita translations before Prabhupada. Where are the devotees? They're not there. But that's the point of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Manmana bhavamat bhakto madhyati mam namaskaru mam evaisasi satyamti pratidhyani prayoshime. He repeats, this verse appears twice at the end of the 9th chapter and in the conclusion of the 18th chapter. Krishna repeats this. He says the purport is manmana bhavamat bhakto, bhavamat bhakta, become my devotee. So if the test of, you actually heard Bhagavad Gita is you become Krishna's devotee. Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita has made millions and millions of people all over the world devotees and continue doing so. So Bhagavad Gita has to be heard properly from and explained from, by a pure devotee, and who simply is repeating the message. Prabhupada's purports, his explanations, as it's very clear, he doesn't make any, add any points that's not there. It's mainly just like if you have a very small text and then you take a magnifying glass and you hold it over. So what does a magnifying glass? It doesn't add anything. It doesn't subtract anything. It's just what's there becomes bigger. You can see it. Prabhupada's purports are like that. It just becomes more obvious what Krishna is stating. But then when one reads Bhagavad Gita, all one's answers, all one's questions will be answered. You can find answer to anything. You can find anything in Bhagavad Gita. Any question can be answered. Then you can ask. Prabhupada was once asked a similar question. Someone asked Prabhupada, how many, said, do you know everything? Prabhupada said, yes, I know everything. And then then the questioner said, how many windows are there in the Empire State Building? And Prabhupada immediately answered back, how many drops of water are there in the mirage in a desert? That was the answer. You couldn't corner Prabhupada. He was faster. Because he was connected with Krishna. Krishna was just giving him intelligence constantly, and it's very. So, it's Bhagavad Gita can answer any questions. Of course, it's a book for that addresses serious people. If you're not serious, you can ask all kinds of stupid questions. But you have to. It's any serious person who wants his questions answered. You find them in the Bhagavad Gita. Through explained by a devotee generally, then it's all there. And so the Bhagavad Gita is able to answer all the questions, clear all doubts, give directions how to act to achieve the supreme goal of life. And it's a taste of the supreme goal of life. There's a taste in itself in reading the Bhagavad Gita, which is like we should worship Krishna every day. Worship of Krishna is not something one does once and that's it, or sometimes does it. No, every day, actually all the time, but at least every day. So reading Bhagavad Gita every day should be part of our natural worship. And by doing that, by reading the Bhagavad Gita, and it also includes the other Vedic literatures, Bhagavatam and so on, but if you don't have them, you just have the Bhagavad Gita. We have everything. We don't need other books. And by reading the Bhagavad Gita every day, one's intelligence will be constantly strengthened and stimulated. One will actually experience Krishna and be satisfied within. I know for myself, if I don't read Bhagavad Gita every day or read Prabhupada's books every day, then I start having a feeling, very dissatisfied feeling. I feel like a hollow tree with a fire inside. There's something burning. It's just, something like, slow fire, not, just something, and I become very, unsatisfied like that. When reading, then I just become, first of all, very satisfied. And then also I discover intelligence becomes very clear. I may be confused. And what should I do? And there's this problem and there's that. And I cannot, Then reading Bhagavad Gita. And then things fall into place. And then intelligence is given how to even deal with situations here, practical situations. Because it's for Krishna's, Krishna is giving intelligence by reading the Bhagavad Gita. So that is, very fantastic way of glorifying the Bhagavad Gita. Is, of course, that should be the main way to glorify the Bhagavad Gita. We actually do read it. Please read it, not just talk about it or say that I have read it or my grandmother read it for me when I was a child or something like that. That's not good enough. It's a book has to be read every day. Please do that every day. And please share the Bhagavad Gita. That's also, Krishna will also after this verse will say that those who are explaining the Bhagavad Gita to my devotees, he says, there's no one who is more dear to me than he who shares this Bhagavad Gita. How was that? Yaidam paramam guyam mat bhakti svabhadasyati bhakti mayi param kritva mam yivaishyata sangsaya. For one who explains this supreme secret to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. Natya tasman manushe shuk hashtin me priya kritama bhavita natame tasmat anya priya toro bhuvi. There's no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. Sharing Bhagavad Gita is such a dear thing to Krishna. Sharing it with the devotees, and sharing it with those who may not be devotees, but who are devotees and who can become devotees by receiving the Bhagavad Gita. There's nothing more dear, Krishna says, than that. So, and that can be done simply. We don't even have to be big scholars in the Bhagavad Gita. We can just take Bhagavad Gita. They've been, by the grace of modern advancement, books are very easily available. They've been printed in large numbers. We have Bhagavad Gita in many languages. We have our Danish Bhagavad Gita, which I think is actually very beautiful designs. And we have this English Bhagavad Gita, also very beautiful designs. And take them, give them to gifts. It's obvious we are giving gifts, and I don't know if, of course, we're not big Christmas lovers here, but I don't know, someone are giving gifts in Christmas also here. Why not give a Bhagavad Gita? See what happens. Or sponsor Bhagavad Gita. Last year, we went into sponsoring a lot of Bhagavad Gitas. You may remember that we have stacks of Bhagavad Gitas out here because there were a number of, someone here amongst all of us, all of you, who gave, good donations that were earmarked giving out Bhagavad Gitas. So we gave out like 200-300 Bhagavad Gitas. I don't remember exactly, but it was quite a number. So that's possible to sponsor Bhagavad Gitas. They can be given out for free. Or you can use them as gift yourself. Or, you can also go out, sell them. Selling Bhagavad Gitas is in some ways, I prefer selling Bhagavad Gitas for several reasons. And one reason is actually that those who buy the Bhagavad Gita as opposed to getting it as a gift, will appreciate it more. They paid a good price for it, so they will read it. If someone came and just, here is a book, they'll think, what is this? It cannot be worth much because they're just giving out for free. But when someone is actually is, paying for it, then they become, will definitely read it. But then again, in order to convince someone that he should buy it, you have to be convinced. So it's also a very fantastic thing that actually to be so convinced about Bhagavad Gita that one can go and convince others about it. Well, actually, it's a very fantastic experience. Then you really have to start appreciating the Bhagavad Gita and be convinced about it. That's it's a fantastic sense gratification. If you're into sense gratification, try to sell Bhagavad Gita. It's a mix. It can be frustrating, but it's also very rewarding to do that. Yeah, but so I think we'll stop here for now. So yeah, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki, go Premanand.